That's right, you guessed it. It's time for another car stereo lab. Let's get to it. So in today's episode of Car Stereo Lab, we have the DSR1. You have a DSR1?
I have a DSR1.
We have a DSR1 and we're gonna go ahead and put it in his car. Sounds like a good idea?
Yes.
Now part of the reason for putting the DSR1 in his car is obviously, for one, we get to play with the DSR1, which at the end of the day is equally fun and fun.
It is fun.
Lots of fun. Two, we're getting ready to do a major update to the lab in his car, and what we wanted to do is we just wanted to get the DSR1 in there today just so we can have a little bit of fun and play with it, but for a very specific reason. One of the things we always wanted to do from the get-go was go active on the front, rear fill, sub, but we couldn't do that because at the time we had a 2-channel amp, we had a mono block. So the thought was, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go passive crossovers in the front door on the 2-channel, and then we'll put a sub in, do a nice 3-way system. We always knew we were going to update to a active system. It was just a matter of getting the amplifier to do it. Well, this guy right here, this is the ACM 4.300.
Yep.
We just got one in. So the plan is to go active on the front. Phoenix Gold is gonna send us a pair of matching coaxials for the rear. We've already ran the wires for those, just a matter of installing them. And we ran the wire to do active up front. We just have to go ahead and get the wires into the doors. We're not doing that today because we don't have the speakers yet, even though we have the amplifier. It's kind of not what we wanted to do. What we wanted to do is get the DSR1 in because we wanted to hear how it sounds in a 3-way mode, meaning just a set of components up front that are on 2-channel and then a sub in the back. That way when we get the other stuff in and we go full active, we can really see if we can hear a definite difference between amped, you know what I mean? Talked about it enough, but you know what we want to do, right?
Let's go.
Alright, first thing we want to do is take this thing over to the computer though, make sure it's up to date. So you can head over to rockfordfosgate.com, go to the DSR1 section and download the updater. It's this guy right here. We've already done that, so we'll go ahead and launch it. Now inside the box, you're going to find this guy right here, which is USB updater cable. On the side of the DSR1, you see this little guy right here that says USB. Plug it in. Now over here it says scan for device, so we'll go ahead and click that. So this is going to tell us what we have. Now we can come down here to where it says firmware, bootloader, hardware version. We want to look at the hardware version and make sure that's up to date. Right now we're on 3.16. When we're on the Rockford Fosgate webpage, we want to see what the current update is to see if ours is greater or less than that. Right now at time of filming we have 1.7. We'll go ahead and tap that. We'll select open and we'll select upload to device. Now this is going to go ahead and reflash the unit. Now while it's doing that, if you've had your DSR1 in your car, make sure you save your EQ settings to your device. So your iPad, Windows machine, whatever you have that you're using to program your DSR, make sure you save that file that you used for your tune to that device. If you don't, there's a good chance you're going to lose your tune. Because if you haven't saved it to anything other than that, so you can export it and save it on your device. I can't stress this enough. That's why I've said it like, I don't know, 4 times. Nothing sucks worse than losing your tune. It's a terrible thing. So in here you're gonna see this cool blue circle of fun when this is touching. Almost. Ooh, you ever notice how these always slow down at the last minute? Oh, there we go. So now if we look back over here on this side, it's going to say firmware version 1.7. We can go ahead and unplug our unit. So for those of you that have never seen what a DSR1 looks like or comes in a box, here we go. If you'll notice, it comes in a very pretty box. It's got this, ooh, I mean, it looks like it's glowing. It's very iPhone/Android high-end box. Pop the top off. It's one of those boxes you want to keep, but you don't know why. It's just because it's pretty. Inside, you're going to find some real basic paperwork. Now this one comes to us care of Byron. He's one of our YouTube fans like you guys, and he sent us his DSR1. Thank you so much. Basic instructions. These are basically going to walk you through the same things we talked about, where to download the app, how to go to the website, how to make sure. Over here, it's going to give you a basic breakdown on all the wires and whatnot. I'll tell you right now, if you want to know all the ins and outs and everything about it, we have 2 videos up on our Rockford playlist that'll talk you all about this thing. So if you want a serious in-depth review on this, go ahead and check those 2 videos out, because today we're going to kind of skip some things. The unit itself, very small, very compact for everything that it has. It is made out of plastic. The box has this pretty piece of foam, and it has these 2 pinchers right here to get to the lower layer, but this is like a cool foam. You could use it as a template, I'm sure, if you're gonna flood. I don't know. It's foam, it's pretty. Inside are 2 cables and the USB updater that we just used. These 2 cables, one is the output, the one here with all these black wires and RCAs, and what they do is they label all the RCAs. Sub right, sub left, front right, right, spare right out, front left out, spare left out, rear right out, rear left out. Now the ones that say spare, that's because this is gonna give you 4 pairs of outputs. So you can do front rear sub, which is 3. You can do front tweeter, front mid, rear sub. There's a whole combination of things that you can do on this, and it's all in the app. This other harness is gonna be your input harness, power harness, and all that. You have an auxiliary input. This is so that you can run like a Bluetooth dongle or something like that, or an 1/8 inch or anything other than the source unit you're going to be using. It has the white, gray, green, purple inputs. That's going to be white is driver's front, gray is passenger front, green is driver's rear, purple is passenger rear. The reason why it has RCAs is because you can go high level or low level, along with this is ARI data link compatible. There again, watch the other video, we'll talk all about that. You have an orange set here. This is the SPDIF RCA input. And then here you have 4 wires. You have a remote input, which is solid blue. You have a constant, which is yellow, a ground, which is black, and a remote out, which is blue-white. This will go ahead and generate a remote turn on for you. And that's it. That's what's in the box. Now, for those of you that are new to the Car Stereo Lab and have no idea what we're doing, and you're like, well, this is fun, but what are we talking about? What we've done is we've taken Fernando's car and we've gone ahead and put in some ACM audio control amplifiers because they're small, they're compact. We've also put in a bunch of terminal strips. Let me show you. So over here we have our high-level output from the factory radio. We have our speaker level input so that we can run power from the amplifiers into here. On this side is our power, so we have our 4-gauge power wire running back to power amplifiers. Here we have a terminal strip that has accessory ground, constant, and a remote. And of course we have the 2 small ACM amplifiers right here. Now all of these are wiring harnesses that we can take in and out and switch around and make so that we can manipulate the system any way we want. In this case, we're going to be adding the DSR1. So we have a pigtail here that we can plug for power. We have these RCAs that we've gone ahead and added onto this so that we can get signal high level for the device. We have RCAs with remote turn-ons, and of course, we also have a whole slew because these have high level inputs here and here. If we just need to run high level, we can do all that. So these are great amplifiers and very universal for the bench that we've made. On the DSR1, there's a switch right here. This switch says high level, low level. In this case, we're going to be doing high level, so we want to make sure it's switched to high level. It's not done through the programming. We've also gone ahead and zip tied up all our wiring harnesses that we need for this. For this install, we're just going to be using the front outputs of the radio, so we can go ahead and plug those into our RCAs that we have here. We have our power section right here. Then we have our RCAs all set up. We have our fronts, which are these. And we have our sub, which is right here. And for this, we're running the auxiliary input from the front. We're using an 1/8 inch right now so that we can A/B between the deck power and an actual phone. Now the reason why we're doing that is because right now his car doesn't have an aux jack in it, so we're using a Bluetooth adapter via the FM modulator, and it's terrible. We're taking that out, and we have iSimple is sending us their aux adapter for this radio, so we'll be able to get a dedicated aux jack input through the Sirius XM. So look forward to a video on that coming shortly. That'll give us the ability to truly have an aux on the radio. It won't be going over FM, it won't be nasty. The DSR1 allows us to run, like we said, an aux and high level, so with the app we can actually switch between that, which is cool. Alright, looking at this, I think we're all hooked up. Let's go ahead and get into the car and do some pairing and some fine tuning, or something like that. Just in case you're wondering, the idea of this is not to be pretty. This is functionality. All the wires are insulated, everything is pretty from that regards, but as far as like zip ties and all that, like you guys are used to seeing, there's no need for that on this because this DSR1 isn't going to stay here. There's going to be something else going in it at some point, so there's no reason for us to make it pretty. We just want this to be functional. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have the app downloaded to some form of device. In this case, we have Fernando's iPad. We're going to go ahead and launch it. Perfect tune. So next, you're going to want to go ahead and tap the red Bluetooth icon at the bottom of the app. This is gonna go ahead and scan for a device, which it has found one. We'll go ahead and select connect, and then it'll say connected. And that's really what you're looking for. Go ahead and select home. Now on the main home screen, you have all these cool levels. When you have the phone app, it has these levels too. So you can actually use the phone to control the master level, the aux level, or the bass EQ. There's a lot of things you can do with this. I mean, like we said, check out the other video. We answer all these questions. We want to go right into setup first, and we're gonna, the car icon here, the yellow one, we're gonna select that. First thing it's gonna ask us is device mode, standalone, yes. PLC volume knob, that's the volume knob that you can get separately. You can use it for a couple different things. Not connected, subwoofer level, punch bass, or master level control, like we just said. Just like you can do it on this, you can have a knob to do it too. If we wanted to be able to control the subwoofer up and down, we could do that. The other nice thing is you can actually, like how we have the aux plugged into this, if we just were gonna do that, not use the factory stereo, we could install that knob and actually use that knob as a master volume control, make things really sexy. So if you have a car that you don't want to put a radio in the dash on, but you want it to sound amazing, you can use a DSR1 with that knob to do that, or not even have the knob and just use your phone. But either way, input's going to be front, so you have an input selection here. We're gonna just do the front, and then output. So this is the one we want to change, because up till this point everything is correct. So to change that, what we want to do is go back, and up here in the top right hand corner is a picture of a car with a gear. Tap that. This is going to take us through the ability to change all those things. So standalone, we know we had that. Low level, no, we have high level. So we got that. First, it's gonna give you this warning. Make sure you flick that switch like we were talking about. Moving on, we're gonna do fronts only 2-channel, which is the next question. And it's gonna give us that cool picture of it. Select next. Now we wanna turn this until we find the one we're actually gonna be doing. And here we go. There's exactly what we have in the car. We have a set of front speakers, we have a subwoofers. You just page through it until you find the one you want. Setup complete. Please press the save to save. So right here in that same corner where got it next to us is a save button. Tap that. Now our basic setup is done, right? We can go home. Ready? All right, hey, thanks. Oh no, okay. Select home, manage presets. If you select that, this is where you're gonna manage your presets. You can have multiple presets. You can save preset, copy new preset. These are all cars that we've done with this iPad. If we wanted to, we could just tap those and it would load these in. We'll go ahead and select home again. What we want is over here where it says tune. We're gonna go ahead and tap that. Basic, advanced. We want advanced. There's nothing wrong with basic. Basic is just a 7-band EQ though. We want to go ahead and set our crossovers and time delay and all that other fun stuff. Across the bottom, here is where you're going to find all that. The first thing that pops up, of course, is the 32-band EQ. If you do this, it'll go ahead and rotate and it sets the right direction, which is nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we'll go over here. The first thing we want to pick up is crossover. You want to set crossovers first. You can change them, but you always want to set them first. Now in the top right hand corner here, you'll see some speakers. Go ahead and tap that. We want to go ahead and make sure we tap and make sure they're blue. Like the subs are white, we're not using those. We're using the blue ones, which are the front. So we'll go ahead and select close. Come over here, we can select what type of crossover it is. You have your choice of all pass, which means no crossover at all. Low pass. Hey, what's up, low pass? Anyway,
that's my last name.
High pass or band pass. For this, we're gonna pick high pass. We're gonna go ahead and set them to 80 hertz. You have your choice of 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, or 48 dB slope. So for all you slope guys out there that are like, man, the DSR1 has you covered. For sure. What do I mean by slope? You see this guy right here? See how this line is coming down? Right now that's on a 48 dB slope. Let's go ahead and switch it over here to a 6 dB slope. If you notice, see how it's... So what that means is that we're going to get more mid-bass out of the speaker because at a lower volume, but the sound is going to travel. So like this line, if we were to continue, it would come over here like this. If we go back over here to a higher, it's going to drop off faster, which means it's going to hit that frequency we want. Let's say in this case 80 hertz, and then everything after that 80 hertz is going to almost disappear. It's just going to be gone. There's a lot you can do with the slopes, so don't just be like 12 dB or 24. Play with them a little bit and see how it sounds. That's why this is cool, right? Exactly. Okay, we're gonna just go ahead and we're gonna pick 18 dB because that's a good place to start. We'll go back, tap the speaker icon, we'll tap the subwoofers, make sure it's on low pass. I like subs at 12 dB. That's just me personally. Some people like them at 18. I personally like 12. entirely up to you. You do what you want. We've played with this car before. We know what these crossovers need to be set at, but we're playing along to make this interesting. Next, we want to come over here to time alignment. This is the time alignment screen. How you set the time alignment screen is up here in the top corner. We keep going to this top corner. It's a good place to look. The other thing in this corner is an eye with a circle around it. That stands for information. If you tap that, it'll give you an instruction manual that overlays over this page that you just tap through. Really cool. Tap the tape measure. It's going to get you to this page here. This is a numbers page. All you have to do is when you're in the car, Fernando is now, if I take a tape measure and I go from one speaker to his ear, the next speaker to his ear, okay, and I write those down like we did here on this piece of paper from the previous time we put one of these in here, enter that in, it'll go ahead and do all the adjustments, milliseconds, and all that fun stuff for you, and you're done. It sounds easier than it is. Don't kid yourself. It's real easy to screw up, and sometimes you have to play with it to get it right, because an inch can make all the difference.
1 inch.
1 inch. Now you can select between inches and centimeters, and then you just click save, and it'll go ahead and do the conversion over to milliseconds for you. That's what this whole spinning wheel of fun is right there. And there you go. Now it's gone ahead and done all that for you. So if you want to, you can go in and as you can slide it here. You don't have to go back to the other page. You can move it on this page and have lots of fun with it. This is one of the cool features about this. One of the things I really like about this is trim level. It has a level control for each speaker. So right now you see the blue circle in the middle, which is joined. If you tap that, that breaks them apart. So now if you need the left to be louder than the right or the right to be louder than the left, or if in this case what's coming is components that are active, you need the tweeters not as loud as the mid bass, you can turn them down here, which is really cool. And then of course you have the big EQ. Like we said, we'll go home here and we'll go and we'll hit tune and we'll hit basic. Basic brings you to this guy here, which is basic. It's 7 bands of real easy to use EQ. This is a great place to start. Now all that other stuff is still there. So we've set up the time delay, we've set up the crossover, we've done all that stuff. This is something in this that aggravates me. It shouldn't be called basic EQ. It should be called 7-band EQ. And then the other one should be 32-band EQ. And you pick one or the other. This is a great place to start. This will get you going. 32 bands is a lot. I mean, it's a lot. Oh my gosh. If you don't have an RTA or an ear for this, start with the 7-band. Do yourself a favor. Figure out how it works. Go slow. Make life easy on yourself. Once you start to get used to playing with those 7 bands, you can expand out to the 32 band. Just set this for flat, go into the 32, and start playing there. It's a great feature. I just hate how they label it, because anytime you tell someone basic or simple, automatically they shy away from it, because no one's basic or simple, right? We're all advanced. We all know everything, right? Yeah. Come on, man. Really? No. Don't be afraid. No one's gonna know. It's your car.
No one.
No one. It's yours, you know, unless they... I was looking through his iPad last night.
Yeah.
He's using the basic EQ settings.
How can he use the basic?
He's so basic. I can't date him now. Anyways, what we want to do at this point is we're going to grab the iTest mic from audio control. We're going to play some pink noise. This is Fernando's car, so he gets to be in the hot seat. So we have the iTest mic set up. We have this iPad here in the dash that's showing us the readout. We have this iPad here that's doing the perfect tune. We have this iPhone here, which is gonna play our pink noise over it. Let's get started, shall we? Do we need another phone? Do we have it covered? Okay, over here in the top corner where it says main, we're gonna be using the aux. We're gonna go ahead and tap it. We can turn it up and down from here. So we'll turn this up. Turn it to a normal listening level. You don't have to go crazy because this can mess up your ears. So just normal listening level. Now you can also do this from outside the car. You don't have to do it from inside the car, okay? So you decide what you want to do. And then of course we're going to look at this. This is giving us our readout here. So like we said, you can use the 7-band and just start there. It's not going to get you all the controls, like it's not giving us all the control we'd normally want, but it's getting us someplace quick. Let's go ahead and play some music and just see what it just playing with the 7-band did. Now I can tell you, the difference between this and where we set it with the pink noise is totally different. And that's what's nice about the 7-band. It gives you the ability to do quick adjustments and learn what each area of the EQ is gonna do for you. Now for us, we're just playing with the 7-band because we just need to get a quick tune in this because we gotta go. It's the end of the day, right?
Yes.
And he doesn't want to drive home with no sound.
Yeah.
And because it's the end of the day, you know what that means?
It's the end of the show.
That's right, guys. Fernando, if you please.
All right, on to the next one.
That's right. Thank you for watching, too. Subscribe, like, share. You guys know what to do. All right. Bye.